Hello everyone, this is Crota coming at you, giving you a shoutcast and a replay between Hawk and WFZ. Hawk spawning as the yellow human player on the top left-hand side of the map, playing under the name Look Around. Meanwhile, looking around at WFZ on the bottom right-hand side of the map, and this is going to be a human versus undead matchup. I am looking forward to casting a human undead matchup as I'm getting to this 2-minute mark. And some people out there have asked me, like, why don't I cast really old WCG games based upon what I know now and see how the game has changed. I definitely would like to do that. I just don't know of anyone that has those old school replays. I could probably patch my version of WarCraft 3 to go ahead and spot that, as we're now looking at the Archmage chasing down this Acolyte, and it is going to be a bit of militia creeping down over here. There's the Acolyte now, and the speed build on the Archmage will allow the Archmage to try and creep out this creep camp without any interference from the Acolyte, or more importantly, the Death Knight. We are looking at a Tuskar warrior now getting focused down. There's the sorcerer over here. Militia making short work of him. He is a level 5 creep that has relatively low hit points and medium armor, making it very easy to take out. Look around, or excuse me, Hawk now going to go ahead and finish clearing up this base here, getting up to level 2 well before the Death Knight is even in range. Death Knight may try and come in and try and get off a death coil, but he is not going to be able to do that. The peasant, if he is smart, is just going to hide in the back here, hopefully not get caught. And the peasant purposely hides in the back. Hawk playing at a very high level, knowing the psychology and knowing that he can now set up a farm if he does need reveals a little bit later on, especially against those Crypt Fiends. Now, we are getting into the early stages of this game here. The Death Knight and the Archmage now wandering back and forth. There is that Watcher Ward now getting another set of skeletons. Those skeletons do stick around for quite some time, as we're looking at the Archmage looking to try and fight this back here. This is going to be a little bit difficult, and you can see that WFC now trying to run in just with skeletal minions. The skeletal minions may end up giving that Archmage even more experience, which is something you definitely don't want to do. Alright, let's take a look. WFC gonna just aggro the creeps instead, get taken out there as another minion now trying to come in. It's gonna get taken down as the Arcane Tower is in position. This is not looking good for WFZ, as it feels like Hawk is pretty much playing his game, not really worrying about any sort of harassment. You can see that he's going to go ahead and try and clear out this Ice Tusk Mammoth creep camp now. There's a water elemental, there is a quick ensnare, and WFZ actually aggroing the creeps there. Oh, beautifully done by the Archmage to ensure that he still got the experience. Alright, what's left? The Ice Tusk Mammoth. Oh, is this Acolyte going to get taken down? Oh, the Acolyte could have been taken down, but instead it was not. Death Knight is still off over here trying to get in a little bit of damage. Water elemental now being dropped as the Death Knight is going to be getting in some easy kills now. That Ice Tusk Mammoth pretty much free to take on anything, as the Death Knight is there trying to steal a bit of that experience. That is going to be a big experience steal there. You can see the Ice Tusk Mammoth now down to 161, 156, 138. There is the steal, and the Death Knight does get it. Let's take a look, though. I believe the item was picked up by the Archmage in addition to that Tome of Agility +2, but the Death Knight on the board with a good amount of experience may actually get to level 2 here. The Death Knight, however, is low on hit points, low on mana. We could have seen a surround, but we did not, as the Archmage now chasing off this Death Knight Crypt Fiend combination. New Crypt Fiends now making their way out across the map. We are already at Halls of the Dead, so we should be seeing Lich now make its way in. We can also see that the Death Knight is now trying to get away here. That Archmage doing a good job just chasing, as the Death Knight, as you remember, is still sitting at level 1. Alright, those Crypt Fiends apparently just falling through the ice, so to speak. Not a very good spot there, as the Death Knight now ends up getting surrounded, forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal. A very bad misplay by WFZ, not realizing that he could get surrounded right there, as we're now looking at Look Around setting up this fast expansion attempt. Alright, Town Hall is being built extremely quickly. you can see the amount of hit points here, and the construction is actually trailing in there. I'm a little bit surprised that we are looking at the Archmage now trying to come back over and perhaps trying to set or stop these skeletal minions from really making their way through. It looks like it could get taken down. WFZ may try to go after the creep camp instead. No, just gonna pick up an item, sell a talisman of evasion, and pick up boots of speed to do a little bit more of the chase. We now have the Nerubian warriors creeping out, or getting crept out by WFZ. The Crypt Fiend's going to be able to take them down pretty quickly. There it goes, level 2 now on that Death Knight. Meanwhile, the Town Hall is now done, as you also see the peasants now just going to work here inside this gold mine. Archmage with those footmen, he most likely is teching defend, if not already has it. We are still at Town Hall though, since we did end up spending a good amount of gold to set up that expansion. Alright, there's the defend that I was talking about earlier. Hawk now trying to run away with that footman. Looks like he will be able to do exactly that. The Death Knight not nearby enough. You can also see another Rune of the Watcher, as we are getting, more importantly, a lot of inner fire out on the field. A beautiful Frost Nova hitting a lot of the units there, as we now see that the footmen are trying to get away. Not going to be able to do so once more. And even with the Fen, this battle is just not looking good. The only thing that Hawk really has going for him is that he is in fact level 3. Level 3 Archmage, but without enough mana. That could be problematic, as I'm not sure if the experience was actually given to the Death Knight off of that one water elemental. You can see the Archmage. Oh, is the Archmage stuck? Nope. Yeah, just kind of funny that the units kind of slip through this little ice crevice right off over here. All right, footmen do have the Fen. We are now engaging against all of these units here. Archmage against the Lich, 2 heroes versus 1, except that the heroes are in the front and all the range units are in the back. That's exactly what you want to see. Perfect positioning for WFZ, as WFZ now continues the charge here. Arcane Vault built in a rather forward location. Don't know if I quite agree with this. We are looking at a guard tower being completed here, and perhaps one more down over here. The footman, now very low on hit points, gets taken down again, and the Lich is just getting higher and higher. WFZ looking extremely strong now, as he should be able to really put pressure. The question is going to be whether or not this pressure is going to do enough. You can see that the Lich is taking a bit of hit points. Water elementals now trying to chase down obsidian statues. And a lot of damage has been dealt, but the guard towers are getting constructed, as you can see. And once those guard towers are up, pushing at this base is going to be extremely difficult. WFZ getting a little bit of free experience off of a guard tower as it was being constructed. And that was a little bit of a lucky break there, as the Crypt Fiend's going to turn around and take down another peasant. Alright, Water Elemental is still off over here. You can see an Acolyte being brought over. Most likely will start repairing this obsidian statue. And that's exactly what we're waiting to look for. Arcane Vault taking a bit of damage as well. And you can see that the Acolyte just repairing this obsidian statue going to be able to stick around this fight much longer. Rather than stick around, WFZ is going to maybe be forced to teleport back home, with Hawk now putting pressure inside the main base. The main base of WFZ is pretty sparse. The expansion here does have a handful of guard towers, and even if those guard towers, even if this guard tower gets taken down, there's still 2 more guard towers that you will be forced to deal with, and with level 1 masonry upgrades, it is going to be a little bit difficult to try and take them down. Peasant now currently on auto repair, going to, or just repairing this guard tower. Meanwhile, pressure inside the base here, it looks like a Ziggurat will get taken down. The Spirit Towers are up. That is a lot of towering and a lot of defense, as a Tomb of Relics is going to get taken down. Militia now being called over. Let's take a look at this. Crypt Fiend now going after some of those units. It looks like one Crypt Fiend will get taken down. There it goes. Militia now continuing the charge in. Perhaps we'll be able to get in another Crypt Fiend kill, as the Crypt Fiends are now still making their way over. Beautiful Death Coil now saves the unit, as the Death Knight still sitting at level 2, not really able to keep this army alive as much as he would, instead relying on the obsidian statues to keep them mostly in the green. Alright, let's take a look. We are looking at the Slaughterhouse getting destroyed, and the Slaughterhouse looks like it will fall before Destroyer form is done. That is going to be a very big deal, meaning that the water elementals are going to be sticking around on the field for quite some time. That was an actual huge loss there, as the Mountain King now trying to do a bit of retreating. We are still doing a little bit of repairing. You can see that the guard towers are starting to fall. Only 2 guard towers and 1 arcane tower is left. Peasants are now just trying to repair, and it looks like WFZ is going to stick around and save here, but we now see a Naga Sea Witch joining in on this fight. Mountain King was not expecting the Naga Sea Witch, getting a bit slowed now, as we see the peasants are now going to go ahead and repair once more. Squirrel Town Portal come in, and there is the counterattack. Are they going to be able to make a play? Mountain King actually in a really bad spot, now falls, giving a little bit more experience, and now level 3 to that Lich. Level 3 on the Lich and the Death Knight. Level 1 on the Naga Sea Witch still, as another footman gets sniped down there by that Naga Sea Witch. So far, this pressure here at the natural expansion, even with level 2 masonry upgrades, is starting to become too much. Hawk doesn't have enough units to really fight this back. Perhaps calling to arms and getting another round of units coming in from the back would be a good enough here, as we can see a number of burrowed Crypt Fiends. And burrowed Crypt Fiends, oh, what's happening? It looks like that burrowed Crypt Fiend is getting attacked here. I'm not quite sure how it was able to be spotted, but we are still looking at the guard towers now trying to stick around long enough to really make a bit of a play. Alright, guard tower down to 300 hit points. Archmage now trying to pull back. Hawk is in a bit of trouble. WFZ is in a great spot right now, but he doesn't want to engage multiple guard towers at all. Mountain King does come in, and no Stormbolt. A bit of a surprise there. A Stormbolt onto one of the heroes, or even a Crypt Fiend, could have spelled certain death, as it would have been within range of at least 1, if not 2 towers. And with 5 seconds of stun, that is enough to really make a bit of a difference. All right, Lich sitting at level 3 has a death strike to his name, gonna be taking a little bit of damage over time. Meanwhile, the Arachnid Earth Borer is now just running back around. You can see the Crypt Fiends, the Naga Sea Witch getting up to level 2. The Lich probably shouldn't even be in this fight here. Getting that Naga Sea Witch to level 3 would be extremely helpful, as we now see the Red Drake, Archmage, now perhaps going to go ahead and stand by the Fountain of Health in order to regenerate hit points. Oh no, that's a Fountain of Mana. Alright, mana is being regenerated very quickly. Mountain King has a good amount of mana. Not quite sure why he isn't throwing Stormbolts, as that's really what you should be doing at this point. Alright, a lot of mana being had there. Mountain King could just be throwing Stormbolts with that Brilliance Aura as well. May end up losing a handful of units. Come on, Mountain King, do something with your item, as a Mana Stone now being dropped and may be given to that that Mountain King here in just a moment. Troll Trapper now taken down. Gauntlets of Ogre Strength being left behind. That is a big item, but there's a big fight inside the natural expansion, and this is just not looking good. Archmage gonna go ahead and try and drop some water elementals. There is a Stormbolt, and is it gonna be enough? The Mountain King now being forced to pull back here. No real mana, and that Mountain King really needs the Mana Stone in order to constantly drop Stormbolts, but at the same time, the Archmage could benefit from the extra mana for water elementals. Both of them very important at this stage in the game. We don't see any destroyers yet. I'm taking a look at the base. Destroyer form now being researched, and once Destroyer form is done, I believe WFZ will have the necessary advantages. 45 over 48 compared to 53 over 60. There are also a lot more peasants and workers for Hawk, so Hawk is gonna has a significantly smaller army. Water Elemental now looking to back off here. It looks like it is taking a bit of damage. Why doesn't the Cold Arrow just freeze a Water Elemental in its track? Well, that's probably because the Cold Arrow is just not cold enough. Let's take a look back over here. Lich now wandering back again, and the Death Knight now making its way, trying to push in a little bit of a play here. And Hawk is still looking rather strong at this point. Ooh, a beautiful Death Coil Frost Nova, Fork Lightning to take down the Mountain King. That was a lot of spells in order to guarantee a kill on a Mountain King, but the Mountain King did also quaff a potion of healing, so that is a rather big difference there. How much gold was suddenly lost in that moment. All right, let's take a look. Top right side of the map could be crept out here in just a second. The Arcane Towers and the Guard Towers at the natural expansion are now under fire. At least their main building is, and once this building is gone, everything else should probably go with it. Archmage does have Spellbreakers and even a Goblin Shredder joining the ranks now, as the Goblin Shredder is a very, very nice, strong unit against these Crypt Fiends. Crypt Fiends, with their medium armor, just suffer a lot at the hands of any sort of normal attacks, such as Spellbreakers and those all-important Spellbreakers and that Goblin Shredder. Goblin Shredder now being forced to turn around, though. He's actually in a really bad spot. No Staff of Sanctuary to save it, and it gets taken down. Bolt onto the Naga Sea Witch, and how the mighty have fallen here. Hawk, who was in such dominant control of the game for so long, looks like he is now up against the ropes fighting for his life. Mountain King may be able to get off one Stormbolt. No, not going to be able to. There it goes. And with that, the Lich now gets up to level 4. Level 4 Lich against a level 3 Archmage. When your second hero is actually higher level than your opponent's primary hero, you know you're in a good spot. And that's exactly what we saw here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1. Please stay tuned for game number 2.